Hello, I'm Frances Grate. Welcome to my garden. You're entering a part of the garden that I call my shade garden because I have lovely coast oaks here that are nearly 100 years old. And I have it underplanted with many different kinds of fuchsias and ferns and begonias. I was going to tell you about this begonia, which is called dragon wing. The leaves kind of look like dragon wings, and it blooms and blooms and blooms and blooms for several years in a row and then dies. So it's basically a blooming plant, that ever-blooming plant. But you can kill it if you don't listen to what it's telling you its needs are. And that's the secret of gardening, is to be able to hear what the plants are saying in their own way about their needs. This is another very commonly planted plant. It's called a campanula, Campanula porcharskiana. I'm growing it here in a container because it kind of prompts it to bloom a lot rather than just grow and cover the ground. These are Japanese anemones, and they're a great clumping perennial that, when established, blooms beautifully from about the 1st of August through November.
How many colors do they come in?
Well, this is the best color. They've tried to make a double form, and there is a pink form, but it's not as spectacular as this. Moving right along, we're under a lot of camellias that are very tall, and most of them are nearly as old as the oak tree, some 75 years old. They're not in bloom right now because they are growing. Camellias begin to bloom when they go dormant. Here's one of the buds. This will be in bloom within 2 months. This is one of the early bloomers. It will be in bloom all during Christmas, and it is a single red, which is appropriate for Christmas. An added attraction to roses, instead of cutting off the hips and forcing them to bloom, if you allow them to set their hips, but it's beautiful and red, and the birds will eat these during the winter season. They count on them. Rose hips have a lot of vitamin C in them, and you can even buy rose hip tea. As we are moving along in our sunny and warm garden, another plant of Frensham, that common geranium I was telling you about on the other side, and we have aeoniums, which one of the succulents that are very popular now because they don't require a lot of water. In fact, they require very little water. And if you fertilize them a little bit and give them water once a month, usually they're happy. And these are in the ground. And I have some in pot, many succulents in pots. These are some aeoniums also. And the tiger lily just finishing bloom. This is just the end bloom of it. It had about 8 of those blossoms. And the pollen of those blossoms is very orange and stains clothes very badly. And notice that this sets, can you zero in on this? And this sets these wonderful little bulbules that have little air roots on them. That is ready to plant, and in 3 years it'll be blooming. And it goes all the way down in each node. You can see these. Unlike a real seed, these are not seeds, bulbules they are. That is succulent, and it will dry out very quickly and die if you don't plant it now. And I have lots of jade plants in this garden, many varieties of jade, or I should say forms of it, because some of them get very red in the sunshine. Some of them, this is redder than this, and they're both planted in the ground. They're the identical plant, a jade, but there's great variation within that species. If you repeat the plants you like and that like you in the garden in several different ways in different places, then your garden can accommodate a lot of plants, and yet you have a theme. It's not a boring garden of just a row of agapanthus. You've done it a little differently. And that's one of the secrets of making it work so it looks like it has continuity. And here you can get a glimpse of the sweet autumn clematis. It's just finishing its bloom up there, the white bloom. There's some more aeoniums and different kinds of succulents tucked in here. I enjoy buying different ones and adding to my collection, and then some of these are just set in their bought pots for right now until I work them elsewhere in the garden. All right, that's cotoneaster. The berries are just coming for this year. They will turn bright red, as some of them already are. The bloom on this is in the spring and white, and the berries will persist into Christmas, and the birds do like them also. These are hebes up here. Most of them have just finished blooming. They're a New Zealand native, and this one is still in bloom. The bees love this, and the birds love the seeds. This is a cross between two true geranium species, and it grew in my garden, and it was given the name Francis Grate. You can always tell a true hardy geranium because it has round flowers. These are from Europe, versus a common geranium, which has asymmetrical flowers and are from South Africa. And some more pelargoniums with the asymmetrical flowers. And these have fancy leaves. If you look at this, it's a beautiful leaf. It's a white margin and a light green, and then also the colorful pattern there. We're coming to a transitional season here because many of the things are just finishing their bloom and setting seed, and I like to let that continue as a seasonal thing because the camellia here will soon be in bloom. So there's something in this garden for 365 days. Not the same thing, not overly fertilized or overly stressed plants, but something on an ongoing basis, allowing the plants to do their natural thing. Here's another winter blooming plant. This is a coria, which will bloom all winter. This wonderful dainty flower. You can see it's just bursting into bloom here, or getting ready to bloom. It's from Australia, Corea, and it will bloom throughout the winter, right beside the bird bath. They're very happy. They bloom in season, and then they rest, and then some other succulent in the same area will bloom. You can see this is finishing and this is coming on. So there's always something in bloom or of interest in a garden.